as always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 27. It's unlucky for some. It's the name blah, 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 blah. It's not a good introduction. It's the age where most rock stars die, but it will not be our death because we are carrying on our Vanarama North season 5. If you haven't gone back and watched the last few episodes from last week and the one yesterday, go and watch them now because they're going to give you full context into what's going on, and it means we can kind of jump straight into the match and go through some of our games. We might as well go to the screen now. And as you guys can see, we are currently sitting third in the division. We do have a game in hand that could potentially see us jump up into second spot, but our form hasn't been fantastic. So since that last episode where we lost 2 games to Darlington and Nuneaton Borough, we then lost to Leamington, who were sitting bottom of the division at the time, 1-0. We made a big tactical overhaul. I'll go through that now. We basically switched to a 4-3-3 because everyone was giving me shit in the media about not ever changing. And it's kind of isolation football. So we're playing with like the same wingers that we had. We've gone to one up front and a deep lying midfielder. I am kind of in the market to find a number 10, but that's another conversation. But Tim Maziah is playing in front of that, and we've gone and changed from, instead of that gegenpress, which we kind of tweaked and did a little bit in the last episode, we're playing like a lower league version of a high press. So basically it's the same sort of structure. We've got a positive mentality, a cautious mentality for when we're against the run of play. And you can see here how that looks from a cautious perspective. You can see here how it looks from an attacking perspective. It's very much the same as what we've been doing. We're going to put the high press in. I'm just going to adjust this little one. And so far, it's been okay. We haven't won every game since we brought it in, but we have had some improved performances. So if we go and look at the schedule since January, we beat AFC Telford 3-0 in a great performance. Spennymoor 4-0. Sutton Coldfield 2-1 after coming from a goal down early on against Sutton Coldfield in the FA Trophy. And then we lost last time out to Hartlepool, which was a bit frustrating. I think what's happening is if Austin Samuels plays well, if he's getting amongst the goals, then we're doing fantastically well. If they keep him quiet, if they can manage him, it kind of takes away our route to goal. So in that last game against Hartlepool, he struggled to find finishes, and it really showed. He gets a lot of chances still, and he is our best finisher and our best player, but if they shut him down, we don't really have a secondary option at the moment. So we're going to continue tweaking it. We're going to continue figuring it out. I think we kind of might need to have one of the Maziahs playing a little bit further forward to get rid of this issue that we've got here in this space. But I don't want to kind of commit to it too early. We're still not falling off too badly. We are still very much in the promotion and championship hunt, but we need a good run of form. We need to get, hopefully, 2 wins in this episode against Barrow and Southport to continue our push up the table and really put some pressure on for some of the bigger games that we're going to have coming up in the second half of the season as we work our way towards the end. We have also had our FA Trophy draw. We're going to be playing Barnet. That will come in the next episode. We're going to do Barnet and Chester in the next game. 2 massive clashes. Chester, not that long ago, were top of the division. They had leapfrogged us. Because it's so tight, they've now dropped down to 7th position, which is where they currently sit, but they're only 3 points behind us. So super tight. If they win their game in hand on us, they could potentially go above us, but they need to win by a fair few goals. More than enough talking, more than enough review from me. Let's jump into the game against Barrow and have a look at the 2 lineups. All right, so we're going to go through our lineup first. We've got Dennis, of course, in goal. Chima and Bellahoon are playing as the central defensive partnership. Melbourne and Connolly as the 2 fullbacks. Wells is going to anchor midfield. Max Haygarth is out. He's struggling for fitness at the moment. So we've only got 4 on the bench. I've given him a rest just to try and keep him ready to go for the last 20 games of the season rather than worrying too much about it now while we still have time to catch up points. That's the rationale I'm using to justify it to myself. If it works for you, fantastic. So York will wear the captain's armband. He'll play as one of the Maziahs today instead of anchoring, and Hodgson will play alongside him. Longello on the left wing, David Wang on the right, and Samuels up top. They're playing a very similar structure, 4-3-3. They've got one sort of more advanced midfielder in Brown. They've got Connor Stanley on the right wing, who we know is a fantastic player. We're going to add him to our shortlist, actually. His contract's not up for a while, but maybe we could get him. On the other side is their leading scorer, Max Thompson, 21-year-old, ex-Man United, ex-Everton Junior. His contract is up at the end of the season, so we'll keep an eye on him as well. And in midfield, they've got Bilal Kamal, a 24-year-old ex-Norwich junior, looks to be quite a solid player, has played at the lower divisions for a couple of years now, but looks fairly decent. I do want to get a good result and a good performance. They're sitting down in 17th, and assertively we're going to say, recent form standings have Barrow in 22nd place while we're 12th. Let's show them why. 12th isn't the best form for us. We should be up towards, the top 5 teams, really, in terms of form and stuff like that. But we have thrown away some defeats here in the second half of the season. In December in particular. December was a terrible month, actually, when you look at the calendar for our scheduling. We've got a super narrow pitch here, but we've got to throw in down to Samuels. Cut back towards David Wang, who does challenge. Hodgson recovers the ball and resets through Connolly. Can square it up to Hodgson again. Back to Connolly. Just get the ball in the box, boys. He does now. Hangs one towards Samuels. It's headed away. Ibuka tries to clear, but Melbourne will recover. Into Wells now. Now Hodgson. Over to the right on Connolly. Can release David Wang on the wing. Bellahoon looks for the ball in behind for Samuels, who brings it down in the box and nearly finds the finish. That drive just past far post, but at least good signs that we are getting him on the ball and getting him opportunities. Curzon Ashton have taken a lead against South Shields, which is great for us. If we get 3 points, we can potentially jump back up into second spot and kind of catch up South Shields a little bit. Right, they've got a throw in here. Very narrow pitch. You take a throw in and you're already in the box. Connor Stanley. Barry tries to get it in. Ball pinballs around. We eventually get it away through Bellahoon. Kamal puts it back in towards Barry. Reverse pass towards Thompson. It's a good save. Sagar, thankfully, he had the whole goal to aim at, but instead he put it straight at Will Dennis in goal, who did very well to hold under pressure. They've got a deep free kick, it looks like here. Long one towards Thompson. No one challenges, which is disappointing. Ball in behind for Sagaf. Chima does well to recover. Bellahoon, long ball forward towards Samuels, who knocks it down well for David Wang, who skips past one challenge. Can he find the right ball in the box? We've got backstick runners. It's a tackle by Brow, and it looks like we've gotten a penalty. It's going to be Austin Samuels to take. We've gone through and redone all our set piece takers and everything to update them. It's a good effort on his left foot. It puts that one low and hard to the right-hand side, and we take a lead in the 38th minute just before halftime. But it is a bit tense. They've had a couple of opportunities that we've already seen. It's a very open game, and that is an excellent finish. I do love this third kit. It is a fantastic-looking kit. 2 minutes to be added on here in the first half. We're through that now. There's one last highlight. Connolly's going to throw it in from the right-hand side. Deep ball in towards Longello, back post. He brings it down, plays it back to York, who goes for the drive from distance, just past the far post, and the keeper watches it out. All right, half-time. Assertively, we're going to say, got to guard against complacency now. Don't think the job is done. Statistically speaking, they've had 8 shots, 3 on target, 42% possession. We've had 9, 4, and 58, so still very level. And we will have to keep an eye on subs, form, fitness, yellow cards, all that sort of stuff in the second half, because they're going to be important to holding on to this lead. Brow, ball into Sagaf now. He looks like he's either playing in a wider position. Thompson scored. It's disappointing. Either Sagaf pulled off to try and drag defenders, but 16th goal of the season for Max Thompson, and it's a near post finish from just a little weighted pass inside. So you can see here from the throw-in, Brow takes it. Brown plays it back to him. They look for Sagaf out wide, and then he just plays that little reverse pass just inside that gap there. And Thompson, he does well, but maybe Dennis should have done better covering his near post there. He didn't really dive at it either, which is disappointing. Throw in here, Melbourne to take. Wells to Melbourne. Gets a ball in, only as far as Elston. Wells at the top of the box, gets the strike away, but just over the crossbar. Throw in now, Barry to take. Into Stanley, ball pinballs around. Sagaf gets the strike, and it just clips side netting. So they're still putting pressure on. 60 minutes gone. Let's look at our subs here. Longello struggling a little bit. We're going to take David Wang, put him on the right-hand side. Oh no, we've got a goal, and we've gotten a goal while I was watching whatever else. York has got the score. So we're going to check this one out in 3 dimensions, and then we're going to have a look straight away at the subs. I didn't see it in real play. David Wang takes a wide free kick, a very deep one. York in the box, goes up, very central, powers that head home, and it gives us something to defend. So we might try out our cautious mentality. We haven't really used it much yet. I'm going to leave Longello out there, but I'm going to swap David Wang with Nakia. And we don't have much that we can do in the centre of the park. Samuels is struggling a little bit, but he does have 1 goal to his name. What else could we do? We've got a right wing back ready, so we'll take off Joel Connolly, we'll bring on Abdi Sharif, and passionately we're going to say, I think there's a lot more to come from you. And hopefully they will go and respond and tidy everything up a little bit. We're going to use a get creative shout. Usually works pretty well. Longello, wide free kick again. Backstick at a runner. York was there, but I think it's going to be given for offside. So he's proving to be a valuable asset from set piece scenarios, but it gives away a free kick for pushing the other player. So as things stand, it would see us go up in a second spot, 51 points, and with a game on hand on South Shields, we would potentially be able to jump back up into top spot in this episode. They are currently down 3-2 to Curzon Ashton, but Curzon Ashton are down to 10 men. It's now 3-3, so it would see them go to 54 points. 88th minute that they've scored in. We've managed to hold on. There were 4 additional minutes added on there. We got through them. A 2-1 win, a tense 2-1 win. Very much so. 16 shots, 6 on target, 45% possession for Barrow. 11 shots, 5 on target, 55% for us. And we're going to say, good win, boys. Well done. We'll check out what that does to the league table. And then we might also use a rest day before the match against Southport. Hopefully we'll be able to welcome back Max Haygarth and a few other players in that one. So looking at the league table, it looks like South Shields ended 3-3 in their game. taking them to 54 points. Our game in hand, if we win that game, we'll go on top of the league, but just by goal difference, by way of currently having level goal difference, 21 apiece with South Shields. So still very tense. There's still a whole lot of football to be played. There's still a whole lot of different twists and turns in this one. And the other one we've got to keep an eye on is Chester here. If they win their 2 games to take them to 28, they'll also be on 54 points, albeit with a worse goal difference at the moment. So super tight, super congested, a whole bunch of different shit that could happen in the next few days, weeks, months, whatever. We're going to clear out this team and we're going to give everyone a rest day except for Max Haygarth because he's already resting. I gave him a week off. And hopefully, if we, through the magic of editing, jump forward to the game with Southport, have a full selection and a full squad to pick from. Alright, so just like that, we're a couple of days ahead. The one change that I was hoping to do was Haygarth, but it doesn't look like he's still 100% ready to come back in. So we're going to bring in Abdi Sharif in midfield, push Hodgson across the left-hand side, drop York to the defensive midfielder, and then Wells will play at the back instead of Idoko Chima. That's really the one change to the lineup from the last game, just shuffling around a couple of different positions. Southport's playing a 4-3-3, 3 up top central strikers. It was kind of OP in the last version of the game. Hopefully, this new match engine doesn't have the same concern. George Baker, 22 years old. He looks to be their star player, Birmingham central midfielder, has been with them for just this season, played at Atherton Collieries before that. He looks fairly decent. And Ellis is their leading scorer up top, 20-year-old Gabe Ellis from Accrington Stanley, 31 goals in 82 appearances at 20 years of age, is very impressive. So it looks like they're going to commit quite a few men forward. Hopefully that gives us a lot of chances to get 2v1 situations when we're in possession. And let's assertively tell the defence. I think there's a lot more to come from them. But it's a return for Abdi Sharif, who we've had for a good few years, who's played a variety of different positions for us. Been a real good servant of the club. Hopefully we can get a good performance out of him today. And on our way to 3 points. Longello there with the drive and strike from the wide area. Maybe could have squared that one up. Both our wingers, they're the only 2 with individual instructions in the team. Both of them are told that they're supposed to pass more or shoot less often. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually plays out in the games as we watch them through in the next few weeks. Through 30 minutes, only that one highlight at the start. We're going to use our Get Creative shout just to kind of go after it a little bit more. We haven't seen anything from Southport, but statistically, again, it's very even in terms of shots and shots on target. They've got a throw in here, little to take to Murphy. Longello nearly goes through him, but then just gives up on the ball. Ball across, it hits back stick, Bange, and it looks like the referee's stopped. Is it going to be ruled out? No, he's running back to the middle now. We're going to check this one out in 3 dimensions. It looked like everyone stopped for something. You can see here, Longello tries to go through him and then just kind of gives up on the ball. Murphy to Ellis, back to Murphy again. No one switched on. He just hacked the ball back stick, and I'm not sure who it is that's missed that header. It might be Carson. It's Wells, in fact, who doesn't usually start in central defence, has kind of let that one run and put us under the pump quite a bit. Aggressively, I'm going to say run, expect to see a much better showing. And we're going to go for it a little bit. We're going to go to our attacking structure. 2 changes are that the wing backs will move to attacking, and our 2 Messiahs will move to attacking as well in midfield. Samuels has got a knock, which is quite frustrating. Got a throw in here on the right-hand side. It should be Connolly to take into Samuels now, across for David Wang. Tries to get one in. Sheriff now has a 1v1 and he just puts it straight at the keeper. Newman was equal to it, pushes it out for a corner. This should be David Wang or Longello to take. Instead he goes deep instead of going short, which is the instructions for that particular set-piece routine. It's a poor ball though, and it's out for a goal kick on the other side. Oh, sorry, a throw-in on the other side. Newman with a good save again. I didn't see who had the strike. Longello deep one towards Hodgson. We get the header again, but just past the far post. We're starting to put them under pressure now. David Wang, deep ball in from the set piece. Someone has hit the deck in there. It's Murphy's held back Ballahoon, so Austin Samuels is going to have a chance to add to his fantastic goal tally from the set piece, from the penalty spot, again. And he goes straight down the middle. It's a poor effort. Newman holds as well. All right, we're going to make subs. So Samuels is going to get destroyed because of just what they do to people who miss penalties. We're going to bring on Nakia on the right wing, and Abdi Sharif is struggling a little bit. Who can we rotate around? We might put Reece York. He scored twice in the last game. We might move Ben Wells to central or defensive midfielder, and we'll bring on Udoka Chima at central defence. And passionately, we're going to say a lot more to come from you boys. And let's also use our Get Creative shout with 30 minutes remaining. See if we can't get everybody to respond a bit positively. I don't think it come through, but no one seemed particularly inspired by it, which is devastating. We're into the last 10 minutes. We haven't seen many highlights in the second half, but the stats are flying up. Everyone seems focused after we've used the demand more shout. It's going to be 2 minutes added on, but this one's petering out relatively quickly, and a full-time whistle is blown. that missed penalty may come back to haunt us. I'm not complaining. Austin Samuels has been amazing for us this year. There's nothing to be upset about, but really that was an opportunity to get 3 points back, keep up pace with South Shields, and in reality, it's 3 points dropped. 9 shots, 3 on target, 47% of the ball, but most importantly, Southport scored. We had 21 shots, 8 on target, 53% possession, and just couldn't find the finish assertively. Not happy with your performance out there. Everyone's at least responded positively. And it does see us stay in second spot, but Chester have one game in hand. They won their game today against Darlington through a penalty. They have one game in hand where they might leapfrog us and go equal level on points with South Shields. So it's very tight between South Shields, our Isle of Man, and Chester going into the last 15 games or so of the season. Austin Samuels has picked up a knock. It's only a bruised knee. He'll be out for 1 to 2 days. Stainrod has now not scored in 7 hours of football, which is crazy. David Wang wants a new contract. What does he want? 200 a week? That's not terrible. It's not terrible. We're going to give him this contract before we go. He's been good. He's the type of player that we'd want to hold on to for next season. All right, what does that do to our scheduling? All right, so we've got Altrincham will do off screen, Kings Lynn will do off screen, Stratford will do off stream. We'll come back, we'll do the Barnet game in the FA Trophy, our third run game against high level opposition, Vanarama National side Barnet. And then the second match in that one, we'll do Chester, the third place Chester. That could be a huge game to try and leapfrog them as we continue working trying to pick up points. December was horrific. January's been a little bit better, but January will look a lot better if we can get a win here against Altrincham and then carry some of that form on into our game against Chester. That's going to be, momentum will be incredibly important over the next few weeks. You can kind of already tell. We're going to keep going with the 4-3-3. If I crack the shits with it and it's not working, we'll switch back to the 4-2-4 or the 4-4-2 or however we worked it last time. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the portion that I appreciate the most. If you want to be kept up to date on future videos on the channel, you can subscribe to give us your continued support. You can also like this video if you want to please the YouTube algorithm and have the content and the community get bigger and bigger each time. You can go and follow the links over on the side there, our Twitter interactions with the entire community, our Twitch streams every Sunday night, Sunday morning if you're in the UK. But like I said at the start, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching and the continued support we've had. So I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.